welcome back to Choice Bits of Bliss. My name is Cilla. In today's video, I am working on phase 2 of my stamp organization. In phase 1, I isolated what categories I wanted to use. That is predominantly used by me. Now, I'm not a huge stamper, so let me just put that qualifier out there right away. I do not stamp a lot, but when I do stamp, there are a certain type of stamps that I return to over and over again. One of the mistakes I made is thinking that something's super cute and I'll make a card out of it. No, I will not. I've got years and years and years of experience and historical data that tells me no, I won't. I just have the stuff, and I will not make a card out of that, especially if the stamps are fiddly and small or the dies are fiddly and small. Nope, I'm not going to use it. It overwhelms me the second I open the package, and I will look at the picture on the outside and think, who in their right mind sat there and pieced all together these tiny little pieces? Well, friends, there are people who love that, who that just makes them happy. I'm not one of those people. I had to have a moment of recognition and self-reflection and just say, Priscilla, that's not you. Girlfriend, it's just not you. So, I recently got rid of a lot of Lawn Fawn sets. I did. They're not cheap, but they were just taking up a ton of space, and I'm never going to use them. I'm not. The sentiments were cute. Never going to use them. Never. So what I decided is that when I take the Crop and Create classes, without a doubt, every single time, every single one I've taken, that Megan Andrews taught the class and she introduced stamping, I was excited to stamp. And what kind of stamps were they? They were words, everyday words, and alphas, and pretty simple type designs, like a label. Something like that. I'm speaking very generally, but that's the type of things that make me excited to use them. So here are my categories that I use: alphas, sentiments, florals, holidays, and collage type stamps. And I put simple shapes into my collage type stamps because I can collage with them. So now that we've got that out of the way, I did all of that in phase 1. Phase 2, what I'm doing is I'm going to remove duplicates. I'm going to place, let me get something that's an example. Okay, so this one here, it has a die that's for these flowers. I'm not real fond of this frame, and I won't use this one for sure. So I can get rid of this. That frees up a lot of space to put other things. That's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be doing. And I've lost the words to this. I'm sure it's in here somewhere, but I need to find the words to this die set. So when I have a stamp die set, this is what tells me where I need to put it. If I'm looking at the die and it's a shape, and that's what's attracting me to it, it goes with my dies. But if I'm looking at the stamps, and the stamps are what's attracting me to it, it goes with my stamps. That's just how my brain works, friends. There's nothing here that says you have to be like me at all. It's a little scary if you're like me. So I'm sorry. But I'm just going to go through my stamps and start deciding what I'm keeping, what I have duplicates of. I know I have, especially in my sentiments, a lot of duplicate words that I don't need. I won't use them. So my goal, so I have this. my goal is to get down into this refrigerator bin. It has 2 channels in it, but this is plenty. For what I use for stamping, this is plenty. So that is my goal. And I'm going to do the same thing with my dies. I have divided up the categories that I use for die cutting, and I will do the very same thing. I will tell you that this refrigerator bin, because this is what I have my dies in, it's heavy. With all the dies and the magnet sheets, it is heavy. Not even playing. It is super, super heavy. Okay, so I watched a video by MK, and she was talking about, because I was wondering, what do people use? Well, I'm making a royal mess over here because this adhesive is catching onto the plastic. But anyway, she was showing what she uses to consolidate her stamps. It was just a fluke and Providence that I saw that video. But she advised using transparency film. So I put in an order for transparency film. This brand was the best value that I saw. It had 120 sheets, and not that I need 120 sheets. I won't, but I knew it would give me plenty and I wouldn't run out and have to make another order. So I felt like this one was the best value for how many pieces you got. And I already used this brand for my dies anyway, but these are 5 3/4 by 7 1/2 pockets. Linkyo. They're like the Avery L. They're just not as expensive. So you get 100. It's very, very cheap. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me go through this process. I may do a couple with you, but I just wanted you to kind of see what I am doing and how I am consolidating. Now, there are some things that I will not reduce, and that is these title builder sets by LE Studio. They were designed by Megan Andrew, and I will not reduce these because there's a printout inside of there that tells you all the phrases you can make with these words. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got it printed out and put inside of it. So these get tucked into the side of my refrigerator bin. Something else that I will reduce are these by Kelly Creates by Kelly Perky. It's supposed to help you learn lettering, but I just like the script, the font, and I thought some of these phrases were really, really nice and that I would use. So I'm keeping that. That is going to be reduced. And these I'm putting together. Friends, I love this set. I have used this. I love tickets, number one. Let's just say that. I love tickets. And this set is so stinking fun if you are a ticket lover. It's worth, for me, it's worth every single penny. Now, I got the dies from Hobby Lobby, and I want to say I got them at 40% off. And the stamps I got, because I didn't even know that this was the thing. I didn't know that they came together. And a year or so ago, I saw somebody using it together, and I was like, and it was a junk journaler. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have to have those. I got to look them up. So I found the stamps, I think, on Amazon. They weren't on sale at all. But this makes me happy. This makes me happy. And it's going to go in my collage, but I've got to put this on a smaller format so that it works in my system. Now, these are the red rubber stamps. They stamp beautifully. They are so, I love these. I love these. I love these. Okay, that's enough of that. I love these floral stamps. These have got to be consolidated on a bigger sheet. I don't need them like this. And some of them have, sentiments on there. I will decide if I'm going to keep those sentiments or get rid of them. But I want the florals because I saw a video by Joanne Bartel. Oh my gosh, she does beautiful work. But she had just done some mixed media on some gesso, and then she stamped on top of that mixed media and then die cut it, and it just gave all of the different variations of color, and it was beautiful. So pretty. She does beautiful work. So anyway, that's what we're going to start with. We're just going to start with the florals, consolidating them, and we're going to just chat while I do that. Okay, let me look to see what all's in frame and what I can move out of the frame. I do have a new desktop. This has been in the works for a very, very long time. We bought this way back in the summer, last summer. And with our travel and guests coming to the house, it just wasn't feasible to get it up here and set up. So we just kept putting it off until the first of the year. And I love it. It gives me a lot more space. It's very, very, very luxurious, and I'm just fiddling with this now because I don't know which direction to go. I haven't got a system set up. I'm sorry. I'm not a good friend. I didn't prepare. So since my bags are 5 3/4 by 7 1/2, I want to cut these. I need a bigger cutter. I want to cut them 5 1/2 by 7 1/4. So we're going to do a trial one to see if that will work. Now my cutter going here is 5 1/2. To the edge is 5 1/2. And since these are 8 1/2 by 11, I'm going to get 2 out of this. And that cuts like butter. And then I can double them up. And since I know these are 8 1/2 and I want to cut them down to, can y'all hear my puppy up here? To, you know what, that's going to involve math, and I need to just knot. I just need to knot while right now. Let's just use the ruler. Instead of doing 7 1/4, I'm going to just do 7 inches because let's do a trial run. Because I think it's, you know, because it has a flap on the envelope. Here's an envelope. We can try it out here. I don't know if the 7 1/2 is to the flap or if that's counting the flap. So let's just measure that and see. Okay, 7 1/2 is the, so 7 1/4 will work perfectly. I'm glad we checked. So let's just boop, move this up to 7 1/4. I'm cutting 2 at one time, and this is my waist right here. I can totally live with that. And I have 2 sheets that I can consolidate to now. So we're going to do a few of these. So that I have a stockpile to work with. Something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and the reason I've been thinking about it is because I have 2 employees who are new to scrapbooking or to the paper crafting world. I've got to do some math here. And they are very overwhelmed by the 12 by 12 format. Super overwhelmed by it. Okay, 1 1/4 is what I need to move, take off. 1 1/4 right there. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, are they even going to be interested at all in paper crafting? Because they're very, very intimidated, and they don't want all this stuff. You know, I showed them pictures of my room, and they were just like, you could see the shock on their face. Oh my gosh. You know, to memory keep, this is what I'm supposed to have? And I was like, no, 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 you don't have to have all this stuff. So I had to start thinking, to help them out, I had to start thinking in a different way about memory keeping. And I had to evaluate what is important to me about memory keeping. And the memory is what's important. The style, the format, that is not what's important. We're just gonna boogie this up a little bit and not do one at a time anymore. So they like the memory planner format. The size is smaller than 8.5, than 12 by 12, obviously. And they don't want all the stuff. They don't want the dies. They don't want the punches. They don't want the stamps. They strictly want to be able to print out small photos. They don't even want the photos to be super great quality. And on the date that it happened. That's it. All they want. So it made me think back to when I got introduced to scrapbooking, and I got introduced at a Creative Memories party. A lot of us did. And my consultant, I think that's what they were called back then, was old school. I mean, she was hardline, old school. We're doing this to be archival, we're history keepers. And I bought it. I mean, I bought that hook, line, and sinker because, you know, it gives, you've got this hobby, but it has this, I'm sorry, that's making a lot of noise. It has this higher purpose. You know, it makes you feel like you're the historian of your family. And that sounds so noble. So it took me a long time to evolve into enjoying this hobby just for me. To document just for me, just for myself. Just for the pure enjoyment of, I love the paper, I love the designs, I love the color, I love the format, I love everything about it. That's what works for me. And it took me a long, long time to reconcile myself to that kind of thinking. This is almost, I can probably get another one or two on there. And I'm wondering if any of you felt the same way. Did you go through that process? You know what? I'm thinking I'm going to leave these on here because it's close enough. I just need an envelope for this one. The reason I'm leaving it on here is because it has that printed side, and that helps me to know what it looks like. Because sometimes stamps are not always obvious what the design is. So I'm just curious if is anybody else going through this evolution in their thinking about memory keeping. Yeah, this side. I can definitely do that. That works. Okay, here's a small one that I can convert. I love good leaves. I love good leaves. I don't mind fussy cutting them. And this stamp set has good leaves. Okay, I like this. I can get a lot more on here. If I can figure out how to open this up. Now, some of these have never seen ink, and that will take me to phase. So this is going to be a process. It'll take me to phase, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4, when I start seeing, okay, I'm still not using that. So many of these stamps I bought from Tuesday Morning, super cheap. I thought they were cute. Now, some of them, like the ones I bought from Lawn Fawn. I don't have a lot of money tied up in it, in some of them. So I'm not real worried about that. Okay, let's put this one down here. Let's try that again. Yep, that fits. And we can move this one back up here. I just don't want to run off the edge. Okay, this is going to go on the next one. I'm trying to find something that I can add to these small spots. Like a dream. It just works perfectly. And let's see what else. I'm wondering about, I don't want this ampersand. So I'm going to put that on something that I know because I know I'm not keeping that at all. And let's see, love makes everything grow. I'm not certain I want to keep that sentiment. So we're going to put this back here. We may just get rid of this whole, most of this sheet. Okay. So this is how the process is going to go. It's this simple. And that fits wonderfully. I like that. That's going to save so much space. I'm happy with this process. Thank you, MK, for showing how you did yours. And sometimes that's all we need. We kind of know what we want to do, but if we don't know what products to use, it's a stumbling block. And I did not know what product to use to adhere these two. I'm debating as I'm pulling these off about the butterflies. Do I want to keep them or not? Because I have a lot of butterflies. But I think the answer is going to be yes for now. I'm going to keep the butterflies. And this, we're going to get rid of those. that'll do it. I'm sorry I've gone silent. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and just make this video shorter because I'm having a hard time to speak while I'm working. And nobody wants to see here and just see muddy water flow around. We will stop this video here. I will come back and show you the finished products of my organized dies and stamps. Thank you so much for joining me. We will chat again soon. Bye-bye.